My name is Apostle Shantay Ligons, and I want to tell you that I am excited that you are a part of our worship encounter today. Listen, we are expanding this season, and we want you to be a part of what the Lord is about to do. We are literally here in the greater Greenspoint area doing massive things for the community, and we want you to be a part of what the Lord is doing. Our address is 15731 West Hardy Street, Suite number 8, Houston, Texas 77060. If you want to be a part of a church community that speaks community help, hope, healing, and deliverance, this is a place to be. So I am soliciting you to come on down to Greenspoint and come right on over here on the Hardy Street and find us and be a part of this big move that God is about to do. And I want you to be a part of it too. We look forward to seeing you. God bless you.
First, I want to give honor to not only our apostle, but our bishop and the Alexis in the house. I give God glory and honor to be standing in this position once again, because we know, Father, that tomorrow is not promised. So I give you honor, oh God. I glorify you, oh God. I magnify you, oh God. I make you big, oh God, for you are God Almighty, oh God. We lay everything down before you, oh God, as I step into your glory, oh God. I lay myself down at your feet, oh God. I empty myself before you, oh God, and I give you everything, Father. I give you everything, oh God. So I thank you, oh God, for everything that you are doing even now, oh God. I thank you, oh God. I'm going to be coming from Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 31, and I'm giving you the NLT version. It says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up onto the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land because it was buffeted by the waves, because the winds was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink, and he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You a little of faith, why did you doubt?" The topic is, are you bold enough? After the disciples and Jesus fed the 5,000, Jesus made a priority to dismiss the people so he can get quality time with God. He was seeking intimacy. So Jesus goes up to the mountainside to have alone time with God, because he understood that spending time with the Father in prayer nurtures a vital relationship with God, and he equips us to meet life's challenges and struggles. We have to understand that we have to develop discipline of spending time with God, but when we are alone and we're seeking God, take time to keep silent and listen for what God has to say. Some of us don't wait for the response. We're in a hurry. We come here Sunday to Sunday, Wednesday after Wednesday, and we purge and throw up. We kick, cry, scream, fight, bite, shout, everything, just to take it back home once again. The problem is that we get up on our feet too quickly. We don't wait for the download. Sometimes God won't give you the download because you was faking it the whole time. So while Jesus was praying, the disciples are in the boat crossing the sea. Now the boat is significant because it is used as a vehicle to get you from one place to another. And this going on, there was a storm that came, and the waves and the winds were bashing against the boat, and the disciples had already had enough going on. They're in the boat, and the waves and winds and the storming and lightning and everything is going on. So you can imagine how they were feeling at this point. Now Jesus was already on the other side of the land. From his view, he saw the disciples in trouble. So to me, that he was already keeping watch over his flock, like a good shepherd. Jesus went out to them by walking on the water. The first thing the disciple says, it's a ghost. All but Peter. See, Peter is smart because he's wise enough to know that the enemy likes to put traps in the way. After all, he is called the deceiver. When we look at Peter and his personality, his life, and everything that he went through, we understand that Peter is one to act quickly without thinking. He flies off at the mouth, but Peter understood failure. After all, we do know that Peter was the one who denied Jesus 3 times. I don't know him, I don't know him, I don't know him. But even in that, God still used him in a greatly way. When we talk about Peter walking on the water, we often talk about his faith and him being distracted. From my understanding, my studying, out of the 11, he was the only one who was bold enough to say something to the one that was walking towards the boat. They see this disfiguration, this body that's walking on the water. Now, the disciples have never seen Jesus walk on the water. So this is the first thing. So the 11 is in the bag. Hold on, what's going on now? My fear is shaking. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm petrified. I don't know what's going on. And then Peter said, hold on, Luke. Hold on, Matthew. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got this. Jesus, if it's you, tell me to come on the water. And he was the only one that was bold enough to step out the boat and say, okay, I'm going to walk on this water. I'm walking on this water. I'm walking towards my vision. I'm walking towards my purpose. I'm walking to my destiny. I got to get to Jesus. I know my assignments. I know what I'm supposed to do. But then something shifted his vision, it shifted his focus, which caused him to sink, which causes him to drown. And a lot of times, some of us are in that position because when we're in life, we're trying to get to Jesus, but all these distractions, we got these friends and these relationships, and we got these issues, these family members that's trying to stop us and block us from getting to where Jesus is. Jesus, like, why did you doubt me? You of little faith, I'm right here. Take my hand. And Jesus reached out his hand and pulled him up and saved him. A lot of times when we're on this altar, Jesus said, I'm right here. Just take my hand. Take on my yoke. It's easy. Take it. Even though Jesus spoke to them prior to let him know that he was God Almighty, the reassurance didn't come until Peter got out the boat. None of the 11 took courage or was bold enough to get off the boat or say anything except it's a ghost. Now, the disciples are the ones that have been walking with Jesus. They've been praying with Jesus. They were eating with Jesus, fasting. They was learning from the Messiah. But no one recognized the Father. No one recognized his voice, even though he reassured them. A lot of times we don't recognize our Father because we don't spend enough time with him. We don't know his ways. He said, my sheep know my voice. They know my ways. If we sit there and spend time in our word, we can learn how our Father moves. We can learn how he talks. He deals with us accordingly to our faith, to our measure of grace. Oftentimes we're quick to criticize others because of old mistakes, not knowing that it takes something else to stand and take hits. They want to criticize Peter because they known him to be the one that denied Jesus. Just like some of us, y'all criticize other people, but y'all don't understand what they've been through to get to where they are. We're so quick to tear down one another, but we don't know what the process is. Y'all don't understand why certain people are smoking weed, or why they having sex with this person, or why they're out here just club hopping. Maybe it's a way of escape because they're afraid to go to their parent. They're afraid to go to their mother. They're afraid to go to their father because they understand that I can't trust you with this because your advice is not going to get me to where I need to be. So they're looking at everything else except for the Father because that's all they know. That's all they see. I have confidence. This is my safety. This is what I know. But this familiarity, this uncertainty that you called me over to, God, I'm not sure because I don't get it. I'm not understanding because some of us are immature in our mind. Sometimes our souls are a different age than what we actually are. So when we're sitting there and we're going through something and you hear those cries, those are not grown women or grown men crying out. It's the little girl, it's the little boy that is still broken. were broken. I was doing my study and I was wondering what stops us from getting out the boat? Again, oftentimes it's our unfamiliarity, it's our uncertainty, it's our fear, it's our overthinking, it's our delusional. A lot of us are delusional because we overthink in our mind. We make these imaginations in our mind. We got all these things going on, so it overpowers what God is trying to do because we can't get it of our own mind. It's me versus me. Sometimes we blow things out of proportion. We make the problems worse than what they really are. You think that your husband is sitting there fussing about you leaving the cap off the toothpaste, but really it's a situation that's deeper than that. You've been had these problems. You just now realizing something else is going on. We make these things, we blow it out of proportion. It doesn't take all of that, but once we get in the root, once we get into our word, once we get closer to the Father, He will bring everything to the forefront. So how bold are you? Are you bold enough to get out on the boat? I'm convinced that today some of us just got out of the boat. I'm convinced that something just broke off. When I seen these babies run, when I seen them dance and minister, when I seen these babies shout, I mean fear went left, anxiety went left, confusion went left. They understood who they were in this moment. And I am convinced and I'm fully persuaded that something shook them, something stirred in them. We create fear in our head because it's our imagination. See, Peter was the only one to react in faith, not in his emotions. The 11 act out of his emotions, not Peter. And because of his faith, he experienced a demonstration of God's power. When Peter got out the boat, his focus, his mission, his purpose, his destiny was Jesus. That one moment he took his eyes off, Peter shifted to the problems that surrounded him. Just imagine, put yourself in Peter's shoes, walking on the water while a storm is going on. What would your reaction be? He went from hiding in a material covering from the storm to being inside of chaos. He was trying to keep his composure. When we focus on the problems and everything that goes on, we then sacrifice our connection to Jesus. Sometimes we have to change our perception and know that God is working it out. We just got to get out of the boat in order to receive the promise, the milk and honey, the bread of heaven. When the storms come, how long will you wait to call on Jesus? How long will you wait? How long will you worry? How long will you tarry? How long? How long will you keep on cycling back and forth? Are you tired enough? Are you exhausted enough? It's sad that sometimes it takes something so traumatic to happen to you in order for you to come to the Father. It takes so much to get our attention. So much. And he said, are you tired? I'm waiting for you. Here's my hand. I'm waiting. If you just say, Jesus, save me, his hand will be extended to you. Why is it we don't respond like Peter when we are in trouble? Peter did not call on the 11. He called to Jesus. Peter knew that the 11 was in the boat. He could have simply called out to the other 11 disciples. But Peter said, well, I know that this man right here, this Messiah, this God that I serve is the one that can save me. And he said, Jesus, save me. The problem is that we are the problem. And everything we put Jesus as the last option. When our bills are due, the first thing we do, we're calling, we're looking, hey, can you pay my phone bill? Can you pay my light bill? Can you buy me some groceries? We look at everything else. We look at what's in reach. We look for the momentarily, what can do a quick fix. We put more trust in people. We put more trust in skills. We put more trust in money and jobs. But we doubt the one who has all power in his hands. We don't understand that God is a miracle worker. How can we put a time limit on God? What if he decided to take his hands off of you? What if he decided, you know what, I'm too tired right now. I'm going to give you a break. I'm going to sleep over here. What if he just said, you know what, I'm just going to lay back and kick my feet out. I'm just going to see what they do. And that's how we treat God. We treat God like a second option. We treat him like he's the last resort, when he's the one that we should go to first. Sometimes Jesus will allow the problems to stay there, but he will show up and walk with you and guide you. We just got to be bold enough and get out the boat. That's all he's asking. That's all he wants, is for us to just get out the boat. Just take that leap of faith. Doesn't matter what you're going through, what the circumstances is, what comes of storms in life that is sitting there trying to drown you. You just got to get out the boat and trust in the Father. He is the one who created you. He knows every hair on your body. He knows your thoughts. He knows your ways. He understands that he can't deal with the same person, he can't deal with the same person in a different way as everybody else. He won't. He can't. He has to deal with you individual according to, again, your measure of faith, your grace. Some of us are in a process now. I'm in a healing process. And I understand that there are certain things that I have to do in order to get to Jesus. There are certain things that I know that I cannot take my eyes off Jesus for 1 second, because I know if I do, I'm going to overthink something. If I do, I'm going to go to the other side. If I do, my faith is going to waver in the in-between. So I just say, God, I'm going to keep my eyes on you. I don't want to lose another second with you, God. I don't want my life to sit and continue to go in cycles. Something has to break. Something has to get off of me in order for my children to line up, because even though the Bible talks about the 11 disciples, I'm talking about the 11 that's following me. So in this, I have to see myself and what I'm doing, because as I'm teaching these babies, as I'm teaching the youth, I have to get myself together to walk according to the plans that God has had for me. Because I understand their blood is on my hands. If I fail, they will fail. If I drop my assignment, they will drop their assignment. I can't give them something to do and I don't do it myself. I can't tell them to pray and I don't pray myself. I can't tell them to fast if I can't fast myself. I can't cry out to God if I can't cry out to God for myself. You have to teach your flock. You have to know your flock. You have to know your Father's voice. And I'm learning that, because in times that I waver in my faith, I waver in my trust, because again, it's unfamiliar, it's uncertainty. I'm not sure and I'm not solidified in who I was or who I am. So I have to learn and I have to spend time with my Father in prayer and supplication. Because if we don't, we're going to be walking confused. If we don't, the word will sit there and tell you who you are. Especially in school, they will tell you who you are. You ain't going to be nothing. You're just going to be another drunk like your mother. You're going to be another drunk just like your father. You're going to be another prostitute just like your mother was. You ain't nothing but a druggie. All you good is for laying on your back. They sit there and bully you, and they will immediately label you. They will change your identity, and then next thing you know, you're walking into what they called you, not what God called you. God says that you are a holy nation, a royal priesthood. God said, you are adopted into my family. My hand is upon you. My grace is upon you. My mercy is upon you. I formed you in your mother's womb, so it doesn't matter what they call you, it's not what I call you. For you are a child, you are a son, you are a daughter. You don't have to walk in the orphan no more. So I encourage you, and I'm asking you again, are you bold enough to get out of the boat? Are you bold enough to get out the boat? I don't think I heard me. Are you bold enough to get out the boat? Are you bold enough to step out on the water and walk and keep your eyes on Jesus? Because I know he is my focus. I know that he is my purpose. I know. Are you bold enough? Are you bold enough? I don't care what the naysayers say. I don't care about the distractions. I don't care. What about me, God is saying? What about me? My hand is right here. Will you take my hand? Will you take my hand? Will you ask me to save you? Are you bold enough? Are you bold enough? I'm trying to see who's bold enough in here. I'm trying to see who's bold enough. I'm trying to see who's bold enough. I'm trying to see who's bold enough. We can't worry about what's going on around us. We know that the world is going through all types of crazy things. But God is saying, prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Because there's going to be a time. If you don't reach out to me now, it's going to be a time where you're going to desperately need me. It's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for you. God is not playing. He's not playing. And it's going to take something dramatically to happen to you in order for you to take his hand. Just take his hand. With that, I release my stand.
Come on here, Elder Talisa. Ray. Ooh, Jesus. To get up here today. Come on here, Elder Talisa. Hallelujah, Jesus. Yes, God. He's worthy, he's worthy, he's worthy, he's worthy, he's worthy, he's worthy. Rakamama toko, riene bekushata bashata, rene manduliene bekushata. Yeah, God. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. 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 Yeah. The breaker is here. The breaker is here. The breaker is here. Hekamamato. Rikana mandokushata. Rene manduri riesataku. Rakabashato. Yene manduri ematako.
This is your brother Christian speaking. I'm here to give you your announcements today. Hope everyone enjoyed service this morning. First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to everyone that did show up to our church water drive yesterday, and as well as our fish fry. It was a great turnout, and remember, we need all of Rebirth family to assist us with our water drive that's happening every 2 weeks. It's important to be here at 11 a.m. on time so you know exactly where your crew will be located. If you could not make it yesterday, we will be having another water drive in 2 weeks, and that's happening on July 6th. Don't forget to join us for a Wednesday night reload service. That's at 7 p.m. And please remember to bring your children so they have the opportunity to learn how to study the Word for themselves. July 12th and July 13th. General's Leadership Symposium that's happening at 7 p.m. If you have not registered yet, please go ahead and register as soon as possible. If you have not already yet, please go ahead and download the Re-Birth app. You can stay connected. You know exactly what's coming up. You can give, including Apple Pay. Once again, it's your brother Christian speaking. We love you, Rebirth family, and we'll see you this Wednesday.